So, a new mode came to Apex recently called ARENAS. And if you don't know what ARENAS is, it's essentially you and a team of three go against another team of three in this like small arena. And the first team to kill the other team wins that round. And it's like a round system. So you have to win by 2 points to win the round. So if you get a score of like you win 3 rounds, they win 1 round, or you win 4, they win 2, then you win the game. And because it's a new mode, a new thing that's just come, people are still trying to find out, like what's good, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and all that stuff. But luckily I've put more hours into it than I should have, than it's healthy. So I'm just going to tell you essentially what you should do and what you shouldn't do, and try and help a lot of people out. So I've seen a lot of people doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing, like playing Fuse. So to start off with, it's probably the most crucial part of like anything to do with Arena, is picking a legend. Essentially what you want to be doing is picking like anybody from the top row, like Bloodhound, because his scans are vital, especially we've been in such like close quarters combat most of the time. Knowing where people are, like if they're trying to flank you and stuff, being able to isolate people, it's just a really good and helpful thing to have. Gibby, his bubble, always comes in clutch every single time. His ultimate's really good as well. Gibby's just always good in any mode regardless. Lifeline, her being able to res both teammates at once, and having the gold bag always is helpful, and because you can always buy a gold bag when you're buying meds and stuff, it's always so useful. Like if you're playing Lifeline, you don't get the bag, you're just pointless. Pathfinder, this is what at first I didn't think was going to be very good, but he's very situational in like the normal mode. He's only good if you're good at movement, but his grapple could be very good, especially if you get a lot of damage on somebody and they're really low. You can just grapple it in there. Like if they're low, you can just finish them off quickly, and you've still got a chance to get out. His zipline isn't like useful. That is only really good on, do you know the Mirage ship with the ships? That's the only time I see it being useful, like zipping up to the boat or the building, whichever side you're on first, to get more ground. But other than that, I don't really see him being useful. Wraith in this mode isn't that good. I won't recommend her. She's good. Small hitbox, always going to be good. But in Bangalore, she's really good at smoke. Smoke's good, cutting off angles, cutting off sight lines. She's really useful, but again, she's easily countered using Bloodhound, so be wary of that. But if you don't rely on crutch characters like Bloodhound and Gibby, and if you don't know what crutch characters are, it means like if you're only good because you rely on his abilities and you don't really have game sense. If you rely on scans to know where people are or have an idea, and if you rely on Gibby's bubble because you can't find cover. But if you're good enough to play without them, you can play with characters like Loba, because her ring, after that got fixed, is really useful, and her ultimate, especially in later rounds, which allows you to take loot and stuff, that can come in really useful, especially to get like weapons out of the care package, like a prowler or something. Or if you just go all in on guns and just buy her ultimate, then you can just take all the meds. Okay, no. And a character I didn't really think would be very good in this mode, but is actually probably one of the best, like definitely S tier for me, is Rampart. Having her walls, because the only reason she didn't work in a normal game is because it was too fast paced, but this is just set in one area and you hardly ever move, so being able to set up a little base with her, having the walls, is just really good. Like I've lost loads of games purely just because of Rampart walls and the extra damage I take. Legends I'd definitely avoid in this mode are Octane. The amount of times I see people pick Octane, he's only good in the normal game because of his jump pad, and the same in this mode, but I never see people buy his jump pad, so you're just essentially just buying a character with no abilities. Crypto again is someone I'd probably avoid because I've never even touched him in this mode, but I assume you have to buy multiple drones, maybe. I don't know if that's actually how it works. Definitely F tier and never touch him. Yeah, his ultimate's good. That's the only thing he's got going for him, but if his drones don't come back after they get destroyed, you're just basically playing as Octane with less drug addiction. Right, so weapons are up next, and this is an area I see a lot of people struggling with. I see a lot of people, oh, what gun do I buy? When should I buy this gun? But the first round essentially doesn't really matter, you know. Personally, what I do is I just go all in on a gun, because they're typically the quickest round out of all of them, because people just really want that round to be over so you can actually start playing properly. So what I do is, yeah, I use an L star, but before you start hating on me, I've been using it for about a season now, you know. I've been there since day one. I started using that gun by accident and realised it was really good. And now people have started hopping on like the bandwagon. A bit painful to see, but yeah, just go all in on a gun. Like, the Volt is a really good gun. The Scout is really, really useful in this mode, especially because nobody has like meds and stuff. Just being able to pick away at people and then give them no choice but to push you because they're so low they're going to die either way, and it's just an easier win for you if you manage to hit your shots. Virtually any spray weapons are really good, like the R99. Don't use the Spitfire because that's weird. Yeah, the Flatline's a good gun to use too, but it's pretty difficult to control. Personally, I avoid shotguns in this mode because you can realistically only afford one gun, and you know, the only two free guns are the P20 and the Mozambique, which really don't have the best range. So picking a shotgun limits you to what you can do. It forces you to play close, which, you know, isn't a problem because, like I said, they're usually the quickest round, but personally I don't like to do it. Another thing, when the materials and stuff, always try and collect them when you can, because I've had teammates that have just run past them and, like, there's no point, you might as well just collect them. They help a lot in the long run. So yeah, it's only 200 extra, but, you know, you might as well get them. It stops them from getting them, and even if you don't spend the extra 200, you've got 200 more and they've got 200 less, the other team. Try and spend your crafting material evenly. I don't go all in on the second round, because if you lose that round, you're back to the basics the third round, and you've got nothing to spend. And the team that won the last round have got much more than you, and they're going to have much better guns, much better weapons, much more meds, more abilities, and you're just going to be stuck with a P2020 with no armor points. You just don't want that. So do your best to like try and spread it out. Obviously, if they're about to win, you know, you might as well spend everything you've got. Buy 6 syringes, just spend all of them. There's no point in letting them go to waste. Now, actually how to play in this mode. I think I like this mode more than the actual normal Battle Royale. No, I think I've only played like 10 games of the normal mode since ARENAS come out. So I think I have like a good idea of what I'm talking about when I talk, you know, when I say words. So teamwork is definitely more vital and important in this mode, you know, communication, knowing places, knowing where to go, knowing when to push, knowing angles, knowing where you can be shot from, you know. Communication, teamwork is so much more important because it's an even fight every single time. It's a 3v3 and it's only 3v3. There's no outside factors like in the Battle Royale, like third parties that can mess up the fight completely. So this makes the communication much more important. So if you've got a teammate who's got the ego the size of the moon and decides to try and 1v3 and they go down, which they usually do, yeah, we're looking at you, Octane. Then that puts your team at an immediate disadvantage, because your teammates immediately have to go into a 2v3, and they obviously know that it's a 2v3, and they know that they've got the upper hand, so you're getting pushed, and 9 times out of 10 you're not winning that. So just stick together, play as a team, don't do stupid things like that. Like, yeah, it's okay to push, but only if you get like big damage or a knock, because if you knock somebody, that fight's, unless they have a lifeline or a gib, which makes it a bit harder, but the fight's virtually over at that point, because with the arenas being so small, it's so easy to capitalise on damage, and especially if you get big damage, like someone's like 50 flesh or something, they're going to be healing, and it makes it near enough a 3v2, while the other 2 teammates try and cover the guy that's healing. But just knowing the right times to push like that, and knowing when to sit back, like, it's not like the most fun way to play, but definitely like using long range weapons like the scout or the repeater is an effective way to play the game I've seen, because you just eventually start like wearing the people down, start wearing down the meds, and eventually like I already said, they have no choice but just to push you. It's not the most fun way, and it's probably not the best way to play, but if you just want to sweat it out and get wins, it's definitely one of the most effective ways. And try and play as legends that like help each other, you know. Maybe like a Gibby, like, do you know, like last season when the Revenant Octane meta was about, try and do something like that, you know, like playing as a Bangalore and a Bloodhound, you know, you smoke them. Like on the Phase Runner map, for example, you know, if they drop out the portal, you immediately smoke them, like the bridge side and the middle, and then you scan them and push up. And they're in the smoke, they don't know where you are, and you know exactly where they are. I know this wasn't going to be a good video or a long video, but I just wanted to help some people who are like really struggling in this mode and still don't know how to play it properly and don't know what to do. You know, remember to like and subscribe, it really helps me out a lot. I'd appreciate some hate in the comments, you know, it's always fun to read. And I'll see you next time.